Welcome everybody to PT on Ice. My name is Eric Chaconis. I teach our extremity management course, 2 days, all things manual therapy, exercise prescription, lots of exercise progressions for the extremity joints, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, hip, knee, foot, ankle. Check me out, ptonice.com. I have a couple dates coming up later in the summer. Would love to have you join me. So today what I want to do is show you a couple of examples of techniques for the posterior shoulder. So I am not really subscribing to this idea, I guess, that glenohumeral internal rotation deficit exclusively or primarily comes from soft tissue restrictions in the back of the shoulder. I'm not so sure we've teased that out yet. When you look at the literature, you'll see a lot of studies looking at humeral torsion, and that being the cause of the internal rotation deficit when you're talking about the overhead throwing athlete. I'm also not so sure we really can isolate or specifically identify specific parts of the capsule and shoulder girdle soft tissues that are responsible for creating deficits in certain directions of motion. So anyway, I think that's a debate you could probably have, and I'm sure there are people that are more familiar with the literature on that topic than I am. But I do have a couple nice example techniques that can be helpful when people feel pain and restriction in the back of the shoulder. Perhaps you believe there to be some degree of soft tissue tightness that's maybe contributing to a motion deficit. So here's some options for you. I like to start the patient in prone. I like that arm to hang down at 90 degrees of flexion like that because it just starts them in a nice, comfortable, relaxed position to begin with, right? So if somebody can't lay in prone, there are tons of options in supine and side lying, but this is a nice option because they're going to be relaxed. So I don't have to pick the arm up, I don't have to worry about them guarding or anything like that. I can just come on in, sort of grab the arm when it's hanging at 90, and I can rhythmically sort of move the shoulder, almost in a Codman's-like fashion, just to initiate some movement, initiate kind of them being comfortable with the way that I'm handling their shoulder, get them to relax, right? And then what I'm going to do is I like to grab kind of high up in the shoulder, sort of almost proximal humerus, and pull down there. And that gives me a nice strong grip on the humerus. I'm going to distract. I'm going to kind of oscillate and shake that shoulder, make it feel a little better, feel comfortable and relaxed as I'm distracting. And then what I'm going to try to do to really target the back of the shoulder here is I'm going to add a bit of horizontal adduction with that. So you see I've got the pillow kind of hanging off the edge a bit. That's kind of protecting the front of the shoulder so that she doesn't feel uncomfortable from pressure on the table or anything like that. I am then going to distract and horizontally adduct. Sometimes I'll use my leg to kind of help it along, so I'm going to distract, use my leg to press around. If there is a lot of stuff underneath the table, like bars and stuff, I can kind of do one hand on the humerus, one hand on the forearm to get that forearm up out of the way. And then the other nice thing with that is I can add an interrotation movement with the horizontal adduction. So as I'm pulling down, distracting, coming across, and then I'm going to internally rotate the shoulder in that position like that. This is somewhat rhythmic and repeated. It's meant to be gentle. It should not hurt, should not create any symptoms whatsoever. I want the patient just to feel a good quality stretch in the back of the shoulder. The last thing I'll show you is when I'm kind of grabbing proximal there, I can kind of grab the humerus, distract, and then I'm going to sort of do a posterior glide by pulling in that direction right there. So my hands are actually pulling that proximal humerus in a posterior direction like that, posterior glide like that. So it's a distraction while pulling back. Distract while pulling back. I can change the flexion angle here. I can come up into more of a higher flexion angle. I can come into more horizontal adduction. The more I horizontally adduct the shoulder, the more I'm going to kind of stretch the back of that shoulder. So if they're not really feeling a stretch or it's not really working too well, I can always kind of increase the horizontal adduction moment. So hopefully that is helpful. Just a couple quick tips to share, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.